your first steps, your parents were there grabbing you by the hand, helping you step by step. Riding a bike, same thing. Real estate, for the most part, is not any different. And we're really good at this. We have over 3,500 videos on YouTube, so if you're not subscribed there, you could go check that out. You know, I could easily do a boring seminar with 1,000 people, but I know they wouldn't do anything. So what we do, you know, that's why we give away the most free information. And you're here right now because you want one-on-one help, and that's what we're going to do, is to learn by doing, okay? So no more endless content without execution. We are going to execute, and it's going to be a great time. So with our channel, we've really been blowing up lately. So it's cool you got to book a call. Over 50,000 people are expected to watch the video that led you to book this call. So a lot of the times we're unable to book calls. So what I want to do here is just cover a couple simple ground rules here before our conversation, as time is our number one most valuable resource in this world, and I don't waste it because it is running out every day. And I always have this by my desk because one day we wake up and this thing is going to be empty. We don't know how many more of these we have left in our lives. So take time seriously. It's time to get deals and time to take action. So because of that, there's no rescheduling of this call. If you don't show up for the call, we won't schedule another one. Like I say, there are way more people who want to book these calls than actually get them because of our content that often goes viral. And one of my biggest pet peeves in this world is flakiness. We just, in my opinion, live in a world where nobody's accountable anymore. People are always shopping for the bigger, better deal. Nobody commits to anything anymore. I'm old school. I am old school. I come from old school values. I work hard. I show up. I do what I say I'm going to do. My word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I expect that with the people that I work with and the people who we work with when it comes to booking and scheduling calls. So with that, I just don't have a tolerance for flaky people at all. So if you're, you know, that flaky person, it's probably not going to work out. And I would just encourage you to cancel the call if you don't intend on showing up. There is honor and dignity saying, hey, you know what, it's not for me. I want to cancel my call. That's fine. So with me, my word is my bond, and you know, we stick to it. And really, I will walk over glass to follow through on what I said I'm going to do. From here, rule number 2 for the strategy session: please attend it in a quiet place. You know, if you're in a loud place, like if you're driving or you're walking or there's background noise, we're politely going to end the call. You're going to have our undivided attention for this session, and we ask for a mutual respect in return. It's not fair to us if we're giving you all of our attention trying to help you and you're multitasking or walking or driving. So we don't do that, okay? Last thing I want is somebody crashing their car while they're on a call with us. Next thing, have a pen and paper ready to go. Be seated at a desk so you can be taking notes. The biggest thing that is robbing you of your wealth these days is distractions. So be at a desk with pen and paper. You can have your computer there if possible, but be seated with a pen and paper. So here's how we're going to contact you. Either myself or my success manager is going to be in touch with you. You will receive an SMS from us and an email with the number that we're going to be calling you from. And I will send you a couple emails and texts, 24 hours, 12 hours, and 2 hours before your call so that you don't miss it. If you don't see any communication for us, sometimes emails get punched in wrong, a phone number, like perhaps you entered your email wrong, send us an email to hello@taxlingschool.com, or just reply and we will get back to you. So as we get ready to move towards the webinar here with the 4 steps on how to buy a property 80 to 90% below market value, which I think you're really going to like, I want to share with you what I believe to be the number one reason people fail when it comes to real estate, and why they fail if they book this call and don't get deals or take action or put off getting into real estate. And I'll start with a quick story. When I got into real estate or tax liens and deeds 22 years ago, I was miserable, working on an oil rig. It was cold and terrible. When I wanted to get into real estate, everybody was against me. My girlfriend was against me. She's like, oh, go to one of those stupid real estate seminars this weekend, aren't you? My stepdad was against me. He thought I was dealing drugs. I went to a property auction. I came back. He was like, I know you were out doing a drug deal. And I was so mad. Everybody was against me. And what I've seen now after being in this industry and helping teach thousands of people, honestly, the number one thing that stops people from creating wealth and self-actualizing is sadly often the closest person to them, which is their spouse. The the biggest thing that they do is they want to get into this, they don't share it with the spouse, and then they try to explain something to them, and the spouse is like, no, we're not doing that. So honestly, your spouse has to be on board with this. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they attend this call, they get all excited, and then they go to their spouse and they say, oh, I want to get into real estate, I want to go to this auction and do this and do that. And they try to take, maybe whether it's 2 or 3 hours of consuming great information and distill it into like a 30-second or 5-minute conversation with the spouse, and you leave out 95% of the details that make this work. So that's why it's important. Bring your spouse to the call, and from there, have them watch this video. So spouse, if you're watching this video, thank you for watching this video. We're going to cover some great information, and your husband and wife has been doing a great job learning about real estate and an amazing way to get deals. So that's my note. I'm glad you guys are both here. So have your spouse, your business partner, watch this video so that you guys are on the same page. Because honestly, as much as they have your best intentions in mind, they want to keep you safe. And that's playing not to lose. And in today's world, if you're playing not to lose, you're going to lose. The world is changing faster than ever. Prices are going through the roof. And if you do nothing, and if the average person stays at their job, they're not going to have any social security, anything safe for retirement, and real estate is the way to do it. So let's make sure you are on the same page with your spouse, your business partner, and share this with them, because this isn't hypothetical. This isn't a hypothetical Amazon crypto business idea. We're going to talk about real deals that are available now. It's black and white. Even if we don't work with you, we're going to be showing you where there's deals that you can go and get. So from there, the next thing is no tire kicking, please. Nothing is more honestly, our time is very valuable. So if you're not wanting to do real estate, if you don't believe real estate is the way to wealth, then the call is probably not going to be a fit, okay? So I just wanted to kind of go over that, and one of the big things could be oh, I just heard about you guys. I don't know if you're the real deal. And these days, you should be skeptical. Trust is at an all-time low. We don't know who's real, who's AI, and with us, you're going to see in the webinar, we've been around over 10 years. We have 3,500 videos online. We're doing live streams every single week. 95% of our reviews are good. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, I'm a former oil field worker, so some people might not like how or what I say. 95% of our reviews are good. And just like your favorite restaurant, some people have bad things to say about us. I think the person's actual name is Karen, and that's okay. If you try to please everybody, you please nobody. And if we're not your cup of tea, that's totally cool, but the people we do work with, they love us, okay? So we're going to cut to this here in a second, but doing research is key. You can go research me, look online, do some searches. This webinar we're going to cut to here in a second is going to be awesome. And at the end of the day, I'm old school, so we're going to have a great conversation. You need to see if we're real, and vice versa. We need to see if you're a real person too as well. So it's kind of like a little courtship to see if it works out, or if it makes sense to work together and help you one-on-one. And if not, it's not a big deal. But we are old school. We have values. We have beliefs. And we stick to them in a world today that I believe is lacking that. So let's go ahead, let's cut to this webinar right now. I think you're really going to like it. You're going to learn a ton. So let's jump over to there right now. All right, everybody. Welcome to the ABCs of Tax Lien and Deed Investing live webinar. We are excited to kick this thing off and show you guys a new way of buying off-market tax lien and deed properties here for 80 to 90% below market value in 4 simple steps. We're going to look at some really fun ways to buy property here for as little as $50. I'm going to show you guys a cool way to buy $100,000 houses for as little as $5,000 with a new method that you've probably never heard of before, and to earn anywhere between 18 to 36% interest through the wonderful world of tax lien investing and government seized properties that can absolutely change your life when it comes to getting into real estate, as I truly believe tax liens and deeds are an amazing way to get started. It changed my life, and I'll share with you guys throughout this how it can possibly change yours. Now, before we get going, I just want to do a couple quick housekeeping things. And there's this phenomenon that's happened in the last decade, and it's this thing called continual partial attention. And what it boils down to is the human brain is being rewired to never be able to focus on one task real estate. And the reason is, you look at anything, any innovation or any success you've ever had in your life, it's come down to, a lot of the times, one thing. And that is your ability to focus on one thing at a time, because it takes the brain like 15 minutes to be able to focus. And then from there, if you get derailed, you start all over again. So for this, put your phone on silent and let's dive into this, because we're talking about something here that can absolutely change your life, and that is real estate investing. 90% of millionaires have done it through real estate, and with tax liens and deeds, there's a high chance that you might be able to as well, but if you don't give it attention, it's probably never going to happen. So the simplest things are to put your phone on silent and to take some notes and write down some questions. We will do Q&A at the end here, so you can type your questions in the Q&A box, and we will answer those here live at the end. And for everybody tuning in, I have a couple gifts. At the end, we'll have 100 tax lien and deed facts that everybody can get, and we have the audio book of the ABCs of tax lien and deed investing, which you have. So we'll hook that up here at the end just for watching. So let's continue. Let's dive in. We have a good turnout here today, and I'm excited to do this live because in a world of AI these days, you don't know kind of what's real and what's not, and this is definitely real. So as we get into this, we have to do the standard disclaimers, and my disclaimer is this. I'm an oil rig worker at heart. I used to work in the oil field, and at the end of the day, these presentations will have many flaws. There'll probably be the spelling mistakes, fonts that don't match. At the end of the day, basically, I barely graduated high school. I'm a little bit dyslexic. I'm a little OCD. So these things generally are pretty rough around the edges. I will be showing examples of deals throughout this presentation here today. And at the end of the day, these deals are from people who put in work. Like, this isn't a get-rich-quick pill. You have to actually put in a little bit of work. Now, when you contrast that to, maybe the effort you've put in your job or in your career, tax lien and deed investing can be much, much quicker. Some of you guys might get a deal on your first auction. Some of you guys might even get a deal by the end of the day if you take action with what we're talking about here. But obviously I can't make any promises. You have to actually take action, and results will vary. But my agenda here today is pretty simple, because I know you guys are tuning in. You're probably thinking, okay, maybe what's this guy's agenda? What's he here to sell me? What's the angle on this? If this works so good, why is he teaching it? So here's the agenda for today, and our agenda as a business. So as Lien School on our YouTube channel, Dustin Hahn, what we want to do is our goal is to provide the tax lien and deed community with the best training and education humanly possible for free. So we have over 3,500 videos on our YouTube channel. We are now at about 94,000 subscribers on that, and are unmatched as far as delivering content and value in the tax lien and deed community on YouTube. And from here, we have our website, taxlienschool.com. And this is also the #1 resource. We have the Tax Lien School Vault, which if you haven't been to already, we literally have thousands of training articles on all 3,300 counties. We have an interactive map. All of that is totally free if you guys haven't checked it out. And from here, we have thousands of articles on, the tax lien and deed states. So our goal as a business is to provide the most value to this community, and we feel that we're unmatched in that category. When you look at the other YouTube channels or websites in the space, I always have an open challenge for anybody to go and try to find another tax lien or deed trainer that has more information. This stuff is, there's tons of people who work on it. So coming back to it, I'll be 100% transparent. What's my agenda is to provide value, and rather than sell thousands of these books, we give it away. And at the end of the presentation here, what I'll do is, if you guys want to work with us one-on-one, I will just extend an invitation to book a call and see if maybe you guys want to work with us one-on-one. And that's it. I'm not going to ask for your credit card on here or anything. We're just going to dive into good old-fashioned value training. If you're new to myself, our team, Tax Lien School, I'll give you guys a bit of a backstory on it, kind of how we got there. Now, what I love about liens and deeds is there's 3,300 counties, and these are deals available right now. So I'm going to show you some deal examples, but for example, we just came from the Philly auction. Here's a property worth $114, opening bid's $8,500. Here's another one worth $135, opening bid is $8,600. Here's another one. The value is $309, opening bid is $8,900. Now, these are deals happening, coming up right now. There are tons of properties actually at the upcoming auction where there's opening bids of $1,600 on properties worth $50, $100, $200,000. Now, does that mean you'll always get a property for $1,600? No. But what it does mean is you can have the opportunity to get something super cheap in all shapes and sizes. So here's some more expensive properties. 375 grand, opening bid is 19,000 bucks. And here's some big ones. So tax liens and deeds are a great way to get into any form of real estate, whether it's farmland, commercial apartments. This thing, $695,000 bucks. Opening bid $72,000. Here's another one worth $764,000. Now, we're going to show you guys some amazing home run deals through tax liens and deeds, and to have a secure, predictable way to get into this business and do it quickly is the name of the game. Now, in my opinion, the traditional way of doing real estate is dying, and it's dying fast. The world is changing quite quickly, with the introduction of AI and everything. And it was Darwin that said, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the most adaptable. And right now we are in a massive phase of adapting. And it's really the equivalent of going from like the horse to the car, right? And for anybody who isn't adapting is definitely going to get left behind, especially in the real estate space where folks who are using savvy strategies like, using AI to get deals are going to be scooping up all of the deals. And AI is something that's here. We do use AI as a tool, but if you don't act, there's a 66% chance in the next 5 years that the average American job can be replaced by AI. If you talk on a phone, if you're in sales, anything like that, you can bet that there's a strong chance right now that your boss is probably trying to figure out how to replace you with AI. So real estate really is the only certainty. And, while the average investor is fighting for scraps on Zillow and Craigslist, tax lien and deed investors are really getting the deals of their life. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over a 4-step, multi-million-dollar game plan to create freedom with tax liens and deeds. And you won't find this anywhere else, and we're super excited to share. And the name of the game here is to be able to win back your freedom, protect and preserve your wealth, while having an impact on the world, and to be able to create generational wealth for yourself and your family, especially during uncertain times. We want to talk about a way to replace the 9-to-5 grind through tax liens and deeds and government seized properties, and depending, some of you might be able to do it within 30 days to 6 months, depending on how much action you want to take. But what we're going to learn is a new way of getting deals. Now, one thing that I never intended on is, as a kid in the 80s and 90s, growing up, watching Vanilla Ice, the Ninja Turtles, I never would have imagined that many of you guys would be here today because of Vanilla Ice. And the reason that is it turns out Vanilla Ice is a tax lien investor. And, first off, disclaimer, I've never met Vanilla Ice. He's never seen my products, anything like that. But there was this viral TikTok video of Vanilla Ice talking about tax liens, and some of you guys are here because you're like, yeah, Dustin, I saw Vanilla Ice's video on tax liens, and here we are. I thought this was really funny. I'll just play it real quick. Same reason I buy my houses. My houses, some of them I've never even seen. And this is a true story. You haven't seen some of the houses you want? Never. And I buy them because I buy tax auctions. I buy tax liens. So I don't buy normal MLS or anything that you're going to see below. There's nothing on the computer that I'm going to be buying. I buy them below the appraised value, way below. And everybody would if they could, but they can't because they don't know my tactic. My tactic is to hire an attorney. And when my attorney goes to the courthouse and he finds out that day what tax liens in the whole county and anywhere I want to buy a home is, and he'll give them to me. And he says, you owe me my $5,000 retainer whether you buy a house or not. I don't care what you do with this information. And when I woke up and got my coffee and went here and got it for you, then you do it. And then I go in there and I go, oh my God, look at these houses. I don't need to see them. I don't need to drive by them. Don't need to even care. And I own so many houses that I've never seen. Because all I need to see is what is the appraised value of that house and what am I buying it for? Holy shit, I'm buying it for half of the appraised value. I just made money. You do real estate, you understand that. It's when you buy a house that's worth $1 million and you pay $500,000 for it.
That's what I do. So I make money on my houses before I even fix them up, when I buy them.
Nice. So I thought that was fun. That some of you guys are here because of that. And once again, I've never met the guy. And, it just happened that many people show up to these because of that viral video. I thought that was pretty cool, especially growing up, watching Ninja Turtles and, Ice Ice Baby. So here's why I believe tax liens and deeds to be one of the best ways to create wealth and freedom in real estate. So let's rewind the clock. I've been in this game now for 22 years, and here's a picture of me back in the day. I'm on a piece of property that I bought for $50. It was worth $5,000. And this really opened my eyes up to what's possible in tax liens and deeds. So we bought this property here in Minnesota. It was $50. It was on Main Street, and we did a road trip to go check in our tax lien properties, and we had a tent with us. And we rolled into town about 1 in the morning, and we're like, you know what, let's just camp on our lot in town. So we set up the tent, and we woke up in the morning. The cops were actually shaking the tent. They're like, wake up, you can't camp here, what are you idiots doing? And we told the cop, we're like, hey, we actually own this property. And he's like, prove it. So we pulled out the deed, and he made a call, and he's like, well, I guess you do own it, but you shouldn't be camping on Main Street. So that was pretty funny. We camped on this. It was actually 7 lots, and these types of deals are only possible with tax liens and deeds. In fact, we had just one of our subscribers. They bought a property. It was an over-the-counter property for $200, and from there they just sold it for $15,000. By the time they cleaned everything up and did the paperwork, they were into it for $1,000. And these type of deals are amazing, and for everybody that sticks with tax liens and deeds, often what comes your way is what I call a life-changing freedom deal. And this is Kevin Gross. He came in just like you guys. He was watching our channel. He was working 70 hours a week as a nurse, and his life really changed with one deal. And this deal, to be fair, sometimes I don't even like to show it because it sounds too good to be true, but he bought this car wash and little convenience store for just $6,000, and it was worth $800,000. He literally retired with one of these home run deals. Now, once again, I can't promise that you will get a deal like this. Even if you get a deal 10% as good as this, something worth 80 grand and get it for 6 grand, which is common in this business, I'll take those deals all day long. But, you have people who play the lottery, gamble, and crypto. What I can say is that, maybe this is 1 in 20 deals, 1 in 30. It can happen in this industry, which is super, super cool. So, I know, like you say, many of you guys are here, maybe you haven't seen this before, and you might be thinking, this stuff sounds too good to be true, but this business has been around for over 200 years. The government needs ways to collect the tax dollars. And, with this, if you just take a fraction of the action that Kevin takes, you will be able to get deals, because there's folks who have no prior real estate experience, from single moms to single dads to grandmas and grandpas in their 80s, who make this business work to really win back their freedom and create that generational wealth for themselves and their family. And, for me, I got into this business because I wanted freedom. I grew up loving snowmobiling, and it was one of my main reasons to get into business. And I've told this story, many times, but it really is one of the catalysts of why I got into real estate and business in general, is because I wanted to go snowmobiling in the mountains whenever I wanted. And what I ended up doing was hiring a mentor in snowmobiling to teach me the backcountry. I made enough money in real estate to take a whole winter off and go snowmobiling with one of the greatest backcountry snowmobilers. His name was Rene St. Ange, and I literally just went and was called his tail guide, where I would help him basically with his guided tours, and became really good friends with him. He taught me the ways of the mountains, how to avoid avalanches, and I actually ended up helping him on search and rescue missions. And one night we had a missing person call, and we had to go find a father and son. It was freezing outside. It was minus 20. It was pitch black. We're riding our snowmobiles. The biggest storm of the year had come in, and there was natural avalanches really just setting off everywhere. And we're basically riding at night, trying to get out of here, getting stuck. These machines are like 500 pounds, and we're pulling on these things, and basically we looked up, and out of the darkness, this big avalanche came out of the night. We just saw it through our snowmobile headlights. Super terrifying, carried us down the mountain, and I don't know if you guys have ever been in an avalanche. I hope that you haven't, but it's very, very terrifying, suffocating, but we both managed to get ourselves out, and it's dark. We're digging ourselves out. terrifying. And basically, in the pitch black, you know, I was thinking to myself, man, this is not how I expected things to go in my life. And in those moments, you know, I'm sure many of you guys have had some tragedy happen where you really reflect on the important things in life. And for me, it was, you know, my family, my friends, and to be able to, you know, what I wouldn't give to have one more Christmas, a family event. And, you know, the reason I say this is because we are here to use real estate as a tool to make money, to be able to do things with the people that we love, and provide a good life for ourselves and our family. And it just so happens that real estate investing is a very fun game to do while we're at it. It's like playing Monopoly in real life, and it often takes a tough situation to figure out, you know, kind of why we're doing this. And I keep this on my desk. It is, you know, the sands through the hourglass clock. And basically, if you can imagine, I don't know if I have something covering this up, but imagine a blanket over top of this, and we never know how much time we have when this runs out one day. You know, we've all seen tragedy happen quickly, and the bottom line is we have less time than we think. And real estate can be a great way to speed this up, and that's why I really got serious on real estate after that situation. And I want you guys to really take a second and think about why you're here and why you want to do this. And you know, to wrap up the story, we ended up getting them out. We found them. My snowmobile was buried here in this picture. We went back a couple days later. We dug them out, and we ended up getting them back. But that night, I wanted nothing to do with them. Here we are digging them out. And coming back to time is short, you know, my good friend actually passed away snowmobiling just a couple years after. And, you know, that's, I don't mean to be gloomy, but snowmobiling really in my life puts, you know, you're always having to navigate life or death situations. So I always kind of have that on my radar. And a lot of us take it for granted. So I want you guys to really think about why you're doing this, right? But also think about what's led you here to this moment, which is there's a strong chance what you've been doing up to this point hasn't been working, right? Maybe you've watched YouTube videos, maybe you've taken real estate courses or seminars, and they just haven't worked. Because at the end of the day, if they would work, you know, you probably wouldn't be here right now. So that's why I want to give you guys kind of my backstory and the basics of tax liens and deeds and this 4-step game plan. Because at the end of the day, 90% of small businesses fail. 90% of stock market investors lose money. 5% break even and 5% break money, or 5% make money. So why not go into something that is much more certain, like real estate? And we're in a tough time right now. You've seen stock market volatility. Just a while ago, remember when the tariffs were happening, you know, there was, what was it, $3 trillion wiped out from people's 401ks overnight. Right? They just woke up, and there's so many folks right now having to come out of retirement to go back to work because they don't have enough saved or they don't have enough for medical bills. So this is why wealth creation through real estate is the best way to do it. And in my opinion, right now, there is about a 6-month window to get some of the best deals of your lifetime through tax liens and deeds. And with this, we need to be realistic as far as what we have set aside for retirement. Now, this is Business Insider, and this number here that I'm about to show you is often shocking to the average person, right? So, for example, if you want to live on, say, $40,000 a year, which these days is pretty much nothing, you're living in a shack somewhere, you're going to need at least $1 million cash set aside at the age of retirement. If you want to live on $100,000 a year, you will need at least $2.5 million set aside at the time of retirement to maintain that lifestyle. Now, once again, these days, $100,000 a year doesn't go that far. Everything is going up with inflation. You know, if you want to be around that 150 to 200 mark, if you have $200,000, if you want to live on $200,000 a year, you will need at least $5 million set aside for retirement to live on. The sad truth is the average American these days is going to retire in poverty. Most Americans only have, I think, like $8,000 to $10,000 saved up when it comes time to retire. So, you know, if you think Social Security is going to be around, it's expected to run out here close to 2030. So that's why it's important to light a fire and actually take this stuff seriously. And one of the concepts that I have is to write down what we call your 9 to 5 escape velocity number. So we all have bills, right? We all have monthly bills. And what happens is right now, probably 90% of your bandwidth is going into, going to your job, coming home, paying the bills, taking care of chores. So you, right now, with watching this webinar, that is probably the 10% of your bandwidth that you can right now afford to get this thing off the ground, right? But a cool thing happens is once you get that escape velocity, then 90% of your brain power can go into making money in real estate and getting more deals. So that's why I want you to write down this number. Could be 5,000, 10,000, whatever that number is for you. That is what I call the freedom escape velocity number. And that's when this stuff really starts to take off. And with what we're doing here today, we are going to be able to have a plan to achieve that. It's worked for me, and I've helped a lot of people do this over the years. Like I said, I've been doing this stuff now this is my 22nd year in this business. We've helped tons of people. Steve bought this property here. He bought it for $600 bucks, sold it for $6,500. We got hundreds of reviews if you've never seen us before. And one of the things for myself is I actually never intended to get into this business as far as teaching it. I actually didn't even know what tax liens and deeds were. And back in the day, this is a picture of the oil field. I loved plowing snow in the front end loader. It was super fun, actually. And although I hated the job, I loved plowing snow. And I was listening to these tapes called Multiple Streams of Income by Robert Allen. And one day I listened to this tape on tax lien investing, and I told my friend about it. And basically he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I continued to shift, and that night we're back on the oil rig, and there was a big disaster on the rig. The oil rig had tilted, and I heard this like really odd sound on the oil rig. It was like an off sound. And I knew I had to really jump for my life. So I jumped head first out of the main area of the oil rig, landed, cut my face up. It was minus 40. And man, that night, as it was like back at camp, cleaning all the blood off my face and things like that, I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not going to die out here in oil rig. I'm not going to be like everybody else and just get trapped in this career. So really that night, I took a vow. I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get off this oil rig. I'm going to read every book. I'm going to go to every class I possibly can. And my friend, who I mentioned about here in the front end loader, I told him about this. He's in the shower, and he hears on his little AM radio about a tax lien seminar coming up. So this is my friend Darren. This is us 22 years ago, and we're at a tax lien seminar. And basically what happened is he heard tax lien seminar happening, and he's in the shower. He writes down the phone number for the tax lien seminar in the fog because he's in the shower. From there, he forgets about it, and he has to go back to the shower about an hour later and re-fog the mirror to get the phone number and sign us up. So he signs us up. Here we are. We're at the event. You can see I got Rich Dad, Poor Dad on the counter back there, a lovely full head of hair, and you can see some auction pamphlets on the floor. So we go to this seminar, and it's pretty crazy. They're talking about tax liens and deeds, and we're learning a lot, and guess what they had the nerve to do, right? They had the nerve to pitch us a $5,000 3-day tax deed training. And 22 years ago, that was a lot of money. That's more than double today. And I maxed out my credit cards, signed up for the workshop, and sure enough, I took action. And just a couple days later, I was buying my first piece of property. And this kind of leads into one of the points, and I love this quote. It's a martial art quote, and it says, trying to acquire experience with theory is like trying to satisfy your hunger by reading the menu. And unfortunately, I know that most people who watch my YouTube channel, who are here today, are trying to get experience by basically reading the menu, right? You think about how many YouTube videos you've watched over the years and then correlate that to how many deals you've done. Odds are, I would imagine most of you guys haven't done a deal yet, because as humans, we want to get to this magical point in life where we have all of the information, where we're never going to make a mistake. And what that leads to is paralysis by analysis, and you never get anything. Next thing you know, 5 years go by, all the good deals are gone, and it's a sad experience. And for me, what I ended up doing was 5 days after I ended up getting a property, and it was in Okanagan, Omak, Washington, and it was a great deal. Here we are in the county office doing the research, and this changed my life. I got this 40 acres of land was worth 40 grand. I got it for 4,200 bucks. I sold it for $20,000 in cash, and I made 15,800 bucks. From that point on, I quit the oil rigs, and I never looked back, and it really changed my life forever through tax liens and deeds. You know, traveled the world, lived remotely for a long time, and just had an amazing time with this. And the big thing that I really realize these days is there's several types of ways of learning, right? There's folks who can literally read a recipe book and just go make an amazing meal. However, there's others that just, you know, need hand-holding with help with that recipe book, you know, whether it's, you know, going out for dinner or whatever way you want to, you know, label it. And for me, I definitely need hand-holding. And one of the things that happened was when I went to the seminar up here, I ended up meeting a guy at the auction, or sorry, meeting a guy at the seminar, and he said, hey, after the event in 3 days, I'm going to Washington to an auction, why don't you come down and I'll teach you kind of what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, great. So we spent 2 days together looking at property, and that was huge because although we went to the seminar, what ended up happening is boots on the ground and just having somebody in real time, for me, is what it took to pull the trigger. I would not have pulled the trigger on this property if it weren't for him, you know, telling me why it was a good property and some of the other ones to avoid, which I thought was a good deal. Because one of the mistakes people make is sometimes they get the book and they don't go a couple steps deeper. And for example, we had a guy, a lot of people come up to us with damage control. They didn't learn enough, and they buy things where the mortgage still exists. So for me, that was one of the catalysts that really helped, was having somebody there. Now, for other people, maybe they can just take the book and go, but that's one of the things that got me into this so much after. And there's this concept called speed of implementation. And basically, I think it was Harvard did a study of the most successful people in the world. And you know what the number one commonality is for people who create wealth? Is the amount of time between when they hear of information and execute it. So the faster you can execute on information, the more money you're going to make, and faster. So for myself, it was 3 days, and I got a deal at my first auction, right? Because all of this information is useless if you're not taking action with it. It's literally a waste of time. And for me, it worked out great. You know, it changed my life. I got to travel, ended up, you know, I did a #1 best-selling book on tax liens and deeds. And as somebody who did terrible in school, this is quite ironic and funny. We moved on to have the #1 channel. And, you know, a lot of people are skeptical of tax liens and deeds. This guy commented, you know, I was skeptical, but just yesterday somebody landed 3050 Buena Vista Drive in Florida at an auction for 70 grand, and it was worth 546,000 bucks. And with this, you know, that is a great deal. And from here, I checked it out. The property was real. It was showing here for 560, and I looked in the records, and sure enough, the winning bid was 70,000 bucks. Now, the cool thing with liens and deeds is there's an entry point for everybody who wants to get into this. If you have 50 bucks, you can get in the game. If you have 5,000, 10,000, $100,000, there's room to get in the game and work your way up through this. And, you know, unlike a lot of folks you see on YouTube and things, you know, we pride ourselves on actually having a real estate business. And, you know, I always have an open challenge to, of all the YouTube channels that you see out there, go and actually try to find the real estate business. Most of the time you can't find it. Our business is 6daycashbuyers.com. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we actually do deals and help people. This is Bertha. She was actually in foreclosure, going through a rough time, and we helped her. We stopped the foreclosure. We helped her find a new place to live, and we did a deal on her property. She prevented the foreclosure. We helped her move, and if somebody comes in, like, at the end of the day, our core value is to provide value and be a good person, right? For anybody who comes into this thinking they're going to take advantage of people or kick people out of their houses, that's not the case. And, you know, we will put doing the right thing over maximizing profit all day long, which, you know, we could have done in this situation. But long story short is our real estate business. We do deals. It's public business. And we help people. Same thing with Clive. He was in tough shape during COVID, and we helped him. We would rather give some money to the homeowner so they can go have a fresh start than, you know, just be here to take advantage of people. That's not how we do business. So as we go now and transition towards the 4 steps of buying property for as little as $50 and buying 100K houses for as little as $5,000, I want to just give us some basic terms to understand. Term number 1 is, what is a tax lien certificate? Well, a tax lien certificate is a document issued by the local government to an investor when that investor pays the overdue property taxes on someone else's property. So when the homeowner pays their back taxes, they have to pay a state-mandated penalty of up to 36% interest that goes to you, the certificate holder. The certificate grants the investor the right to collect the back taxes plus interest from the property owner. So if the property owner doesn't pay the taxes and interest by a certain deadline, the investor can acquire ownership of the property. So this system has been around for over 200 years. And remember this, in half of the states are tax lien states, half of the states are tax deed states. So here's a map from our knowledge vault on the Tax Lien School knowledge vault. And basically here, everything in green is a tax lien state. You know, we have Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, South Dakota. From here we have Nebraska, Iowa, we have Alabama, Illinois, Kentucky. We also have here, what else do we have? We have a hybrid state, so Florida is a hybrid state, Arizona as well as a tax lien state, and California is now doing some tax liens as well. So the first thing is to, as we go through this, determine what's going to pique your interest the most. Is it going to be tax liens, or is it going to be tax deeds, or is it going to be both? And as we go through these steps, imagine this like a train stopping at different stops. We're going to stop one will be the easy stop, the $50 properties. And as we go on, it will go up for the ability to make more money. You can hop on this train at any time you want. So there's over 3,300 counties. There are over 2 million tax liens per year that are out there. And the reason this is a safe, secure, predictable investment is the worst case scenario, if your tax lien doesn't redeem, you can foreclose and get the property. So the big thing is that your investment is actually secured by collateral, right? So what does the bank need? Anytime they lend money, they want collateral. They want everything, your left arm, your kid's name, all of that, right? So why would it not make sense for you to get into investments that do the same thing? Most people are hoping for wins with, you know, cryptos and stocks and, you know, things they have no control over. Where in real estate, there's good old-fashioned collateral. And here's a fun fact that should make you mad. Banks are one of the largest investors in tax lien certificates. So while they're giving you peanuts, there's a chance. If you have cash in the bank right now, the bank could be using your money to buy tax liens as we speak. So hopefully that, you know, lights a fire under your butt. So what is a tax deed? A tax deed is a legal document issued by the government authority that grants ownership to a property purchaser, usually an investor. This occurs because the original property owner failed to pay the property taxes owed, allowing the government to sell the property at a tax deed auction to recover the unpaid taxes. So the buyer of the tax deed becomes the new owner of the property, unlike tax liens, which give an investor claim to the property that must be paid off. Tax deeds transfer the ownership of the property directly to the investor. And get this, the cool thing about a tax deed is it wipes out the mortgages and all liens above it. So that's where that saying, free and clear, came from, is it wipes out all of the mortgages and things like that on the property. Now, you do need to know what to do, because just because a property is at a tax sale doesn't mean it's a tax sale property. And that's one of the biggest mistakes we see, is sometimes people get all gung-ho, they get the book, they don't read the book, and they go and they buy a property and they don't realize that the sheriff is also auctioning off homeowner association properties at the same time. And this happens in Texas. We see it all the time. Uneducated people make bad decisions because they didn't do their research and learn properly. They think oh wow, this $400,000 property, they get it for $100 grand or whatever the price is, but they don't realize that it comes with a $300,000 or $400,000 mortgage that they're now responsible for. Now, sometimes these properties for $400 grand can go super dirt cheap, but it depends what starting point, you're going to get into this business at. So that's what's great about tax deeds. So where are the tax deeds? Okay, so anything in red here is a tax deed state. So we have Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Alaska, New Mexico. California does tax deeds as well. Texas is a tax deed state, one of our favorites, but they're a redeemable deed state. So you have to wait 6 months before you can sell it. In Texas and Georgia are like that. So coming back here, we have Maine, Pennsylvania is a great place, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan. You can actually buy tax deeds in Michigan with a credit card, which is very cool. North Dakota as well, Oklahoma. So these are the deed states, okay? Now, the amazing thing these days is it doesn't matter where you live, because a lot of these auctions are online. You can do them from home, from the comfort of home, which is great. Now, coming back, I want to introduce you to the wonderful world of what we call the over-the-counter tax deeds, okay? So an over-the-counter tax deed is a government seized property that didn't sell at the auction. And guess what? There are thousands of these properties available right now, over 95% below market value that you can go buy. And that's what one of our members did, is they bought a property, it was just $200 over the counter. And, you know, that thing, they sold it for, I think it was $15,000. And these types of deals can only be done through over-the-counter. And with the over-the-counter, you will hear people say, well, there's a reason it didn't sell at the auction. It's all junk, blah, 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 blah. But it's not all junk. And if you put in some elbow grease, you will be able to find it. But there's also things that happen sometimes where somebody bids on a property at the auction and then they didn't close, they didn't get the money. So then it goes into the county inventory. So there can be some absolutely amazing deals and amazing creative ways to buy over the clock. You can buy a cheap piece of property for $100, put a billboard on it, and rent it out. Some people will buy vacant land for, you know, $1,000 and then sell it for $10,000 on creative financing, where they take, you know, $2,000 down and collect $100 or $200 per month. So there's tons of ways to do this. And here's a question that folks ask. Hey, all right, if this is so good, then why isn't everybody doing this? And, you know, if it's so good, Dustin, why is this guy teaching it, right? These are two big questions that I want to answer right now. So, the reason not everybody's doing this is there's no third-party, multi-billion-dollar industries that are wrapped around this, right? When you look at most real estate, you have real estate agents, insurance companies, title companies, mortgage lenders, all sorts of people where there's a multi-billion-dollar industry surrounded about promoting. Whereas tax liens and deeds, the government doesn't allow third parties to come in, which will keep it off the mainstream for quite a while. And then you have 3,300 counties. Every county is a little bit different. So you have to learn the rules, which is what we are showing you how to do. And the other reason why people don't do this is everybody talks to their brother-in-law or sister-in-law at the family dinner who has made money in real estate by buying a property 15 years ago, having it quadruple in value, and then all of a sudden they're a real estate expert, and people go and they try to have a discussion about this, oh, this great tax lien thing, and then they're like, oh, it sounds fishy. Because the person having the conversation obviously didn't get the book or watch these videos, so people get discouraged, which is good. We want folks to be discouraged from this so that we can have lots for ourselves. Right now, the other question that comes up is like, well, Dustin, if this works so good, why are you teaching it, right? You're just a seminar guru. And I really don't consider myself a guru. I never actually set out to do this, but just full transparency, what ended up happening is as we went to these auctions, people started coming up, and this book was born out of my own checklists for going to the auctions. Like all of the forms and stuff in here in the book, these are what I use going to auctions. And one day somebody came up to me and they're like, hey, I want to pay you to teach me how to do this. And I'm like, I don't do that. And, you know, they basically said to me, look, I'll pay you to do it, or to teach me. And I said, sure. And from there, it grew, with the YouTube channel grew, and all transparency, we have a business that teaches people how to do this. And the thing with that is it does a couple things. One, it saves you, up to 5 years of trial and error. And because we work with people one-on-one, we can help you avoid mistakes. We can show you where the best deals are. So that business has evolved, and it's the same way that, McDonald's opened restaurants. They have a recipe that works, and our recipe can save people years of trial and error. And the other great thing is it grows our network. People come to me with deals. Investors come to me. So it really is the ultimate business card. And for anybody who gets success in this business, and then they're like, oh, it sounds fishy, because the person having the conversation obviously didn't get the book or watch these videos, so people get discouraged, which is good. We want folks to be discouraged from this so that we can have lots of ourselves. Right now, the other question that comes up is like, well, Dustin, if this works so good, why are you teaching it, right? You're just a seminar guru. And I really don't consider myself a guru. I never actually set out to do this, but just full transparency, what ended up happening is as we went to these auctions, people started coming up, and this book was born out of my own checklists for going to the auctions. Like all of the forms and stuff in here in the book, these are what I use going to auctions. And one day somebody came up to me and they're like, hey, I want to pay you to teach me how to do this. And I'm like, I don't do that. And they basically said to me, look, I'll pay you to do it, or to teach me. And I said, sure. And from there, it grew. With the YouTube channel grew. In all transparency, we have a business that teaches people how to do this. And the thing with that is it does a couple things. One, it saves you, up to 5 years of trial and error. And because we work with people one-on-one, we can help you avoid mistakes. We can show you where the best deals are. So that business has evolved, and it's the same way that, McDonald's opened restaurants. They have a recipe that works, and our recipe can save people years of trial and error. And the other great thing is it grows our network. People come to me with deals. Investors come to me. So it really is the ultimate business card. And for anybody who gets success in this business, you should be documenting it as well. So that's really why. So I like to be transparent about this. Now, the perfect storm for tax liens and deeds is here right now as far as what's going on in the economy. So let's go through the 4-step plan here for starting with as little as $50, okay? So step number 1, if you don't have a lot of money, or maybe you have not a lot of money, but you have a good credit score. Corey, am I freezing? There we go. We're back. I see it. Yeah, you're good. Great. So if you don't have a lot of money, and there's two camps. You only have $50 to your name, or maybe you only have $50 to your name and a decent credit score. Like anything above 650, you can get into this game as far as using OPM and things like that. So step number 1 is buy and flip cheap over-the-counter tax deeds. Okay, you can buy as many of these as you want. Like this one I got, $50, worth $5 grand. Find these properties and start to flip them. So the first thing you're going to do is call the counties in a tax deed state. Everybody has the directories and things like that. So what you're going to do is find the states in red, and it's very simple. You're going to call them, you're going to say, hey, when is the tax deed auction? From there, you're going to say, all right, when is the next auction? When was the tax deed auction? When is the next auction? And what happened to the properties that did not sell at the auction? And they'll say, oh, the properties that didn't sell at the auction, those are going to get rolled over into our next auction. Or they're going to say, oh, those are in our county inventory. So at that point, you ask for the list of the auctions at the county inventory, and you start doing your research. Now, the cool thing is you can do this virtually. Land is actually really easy in this situation because, it's land. You don't have to worry about, a dilapidated building or any code violations and things like that. So land is good, but they will be houses, sometimes apartments as well. And if you're doing it virtually, then you can use, there's an app on your phone called AirTasker or TaskRabbit, and for like $20 to $30, you can send somebody to go take pictures and document the property, which is great. And that's how you do it. From there, you can use what's called Land Glide for looking at the property lines, and you can do this stuff remotely, which is great. Some of them might even take credit cards, get the property, and then quick flip it. Turn that 50 into 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, and start working your way up. And this is one of my favorite. Another good deal. This is Brad. He was a member of ours. He got this apartment building For just 50 bucks, he fixed it up. It pays him 15 grand per month in rent. And the question probably coming up is like, well, why would something like that go to auction? And what happens is the county will have properties in their inventory that could be worth $10, $20, $100, $200,000. But the condition for them to basically give it away is they want it back on the tax roll. So with Brad, what he ended up doing was he got this property and he had 6 months to fix it up. So you'll have to just look into conditions like that because those types of deals are out there. All right, step number 2. It's time to profit with some bigger deals. So now this is step 2 on the train. You can hop on this thing at any stop you want, like we mentioned before. So you're going to take this money once you have $10,000 to $50,000, and it's time to flip bigger deals for more profits. Now, I'll caveat this and say if you have a credit score of 650 or above, you can use OPM to be flipping these properties. Sometimes it's 0% interest as well, which is very cool. So we're going to take this and flip some bigger deals. And I like using Brad as a case study because this is what he did. And basically, he likes apartments. He bought this one for 32 grand, did nothing to it, sold it for 150, and he had $118,000. And he went on to buy over the next 24 months. He bought $3 million worth of real estate for just $280,000 and does this business full-time, very successful. And people often say, it's like, oh, I know, but this Brad guy's different, right? And I say, you're right, he is different. He's British, it's hard to understand, especially after a few drinks, Brad, if you're watching. And from there, he was living in Canada at the time, so he was driving down. And that made it even that much tougher. He was flying and driving down. So for you guys, if you're in the States, it's even that much easier, which most of you are. But the other cool thing is you can do this stuff remotely. So to find these deals, similar to before, you want to call the tax deed counties and find out when the auctions are. Go online. You can go to our Lien School vault, and we have an auction calendar there as well. But for some rules of thumb here, Texas and Georgia are the first Tuesday of every month. Texas has 256 counties, I think. We go there pretty much every single month to the auction. Florida does them every month. Georgia does them. Arizona does them in, I believe it's February as well. That's tax lien. But you want to find out when the auction is, find out if it's online or in person, and start looking at these deals. Now, here are some tax deed research tips, okay? Never buy without seeing an independent current photo of the property. And a mistake people make is they just look at the Google Map image, they think it's a deal, and then they don't realize it's been flooded or burned down, and they lose their money. All right? You want to learn how to research the liens on a property, because if it's an HOA property being sold at the tax sale, that mortgage won't get wiped out. The next thing is you want to make sure the county notified everybody on title through the records. You can see that there pretty easily. And then also make sure there's no county liens or city liens on that property, because the county isn't a fan of wiping out their own mortgage. For example, we've seen properties with $50,000 of grass cutting liens because the county's been cutting the grass and acquiring or accruing interest, right? So keep an eye on things like that. From there, ask for the auction rules. When do you have to register for the auction? What form of payments are taken at the auction? And always have an exit plan when it comes to these auctions and these properties, because you make your money when you sell it. Or if you're going to keep it, have that in mind. Just because something looks, has a good spread, if it's a landlocked or a former, gas station, or maybe it was a laundromat, or maybe it was, a painting auto body place, there could be chemicals in the ground. So we generally like to avoid those as well. So take the next several months. You can start with 50 bucks, flip as many as you can, make some money. And there's no reason why, if you're aggressive, you couldn't make $100,000 to $300,000 in the next 12 months. Like I said, if you put in 1 to 2 hours per day in this business, 5 days a week, you will get deals. Okay. Now, obviously, I can't nail that down to a specific number, but it can be very realistic if you put in a bit of time to do this business. Now, from there, I always say, if you do this long enough, you will get life-changing home run deals if you stick with it. You will get tons of good deals, but if you keep showing up, you will get fantastic home run deals. You just need to take action, and it's that saying, as long as you are a you're either consistent or you're non-existent. So be consistent, and I actually want to show Kevin from his words on his deal on his car wash here. So take a quick listen to what Kevin had to say.
But recently we did I guess you might say, hit one of those home runs that we hear about and think about, and they come around occasionally, but this was a really good hit for us. We were able to pick up a couple of commercial properties in town over here. Really nice properties, a convenience store and a car wash, along with a little retail shop, and we picked all that up for, I was told we have about $6,000 in it all, a little under $6,000, and assessed value for those properties is around $850,000.
Wow. Unbelievable. So literally you've locked into over $700,000 in equity.
Oh my, yeah, and it's every bit of that. It's probably closer to 850 in equity, because like I said, we have around 6 in it, and we're looking to, but we'll do a little work on the car wash to get it where we want it to be, and put it under new management, and look to run that, and feel like that'll be a good residual income for us, and then we'll rent the convenience store out and the retail shop, and then some storage buildings that are on the property as well. So around $2,500 in the rental income there from that.
Nice. So I love sharing that story, just because if you're consistent, you can find these jackpot deals, and these types of deals are available right now. And you know what? Some of us might go our whole career and never get a deal like that. However, what I say is even a deal 10% as good as that, if you get the property, it's worth 80 grand. If you can get it for $6,000 to $10,000, we'll take those deals all day long. And those deals exist. They are out there. There's deals out here right now. Here's one, $392 coming up to the auction. The opening bid is $8,900. Here's another one worth $320. Opening bid is $11,000. This one, opening bid $18,000, worth $334. So there are these deals available right now. Like, these are not hypotheticals. Now, at the end of the day, this is an auction, right? Now, there is a chance that you go to your first auction and everything gets bid up to market value and you don't get anything. But there is an equal chance that you go and you get a smoking good deal at your first one. At the end of the day, as long as you keep showing up, this stuff can happen for you. So now I'm going to show you how to add some jet fuel to this process with step number 3, which is buying 100K houses for as little as $5,000. Now I know that sounds crazy, but we are going to do that through the world of tax lien investing. Now, depending on how much money you have, you can be jumping on this train at any point. You can start directly at step 3. And we're going to use the power of tax liens to get these deals that can only happen through tax lien investing. There's people who could be millionaires in the next 12 months if they're taking action with these strategies aggressively, which, it wouldn't be an outlying story if somebody, takes action. Maybe you got to put in a few more hours per day. But what I love about tax liens is they pay a guaranteed interest of 8% to 36% ROI. It's mandated and fixed by state law, all right? So your money is secure, meaning if you don't get your 8 to 36%, you get the property. And when the tax lien doesn't redeem, that's where you can really get some of these freedom deals, which are awesome, right? So remember these baselines. 95% of the time, the tax lien will redeem and pay you your interest, which means 1 in 20 tax liens will not redeem, and this is where you get the home run life-changing deal, because on average nationwide, taxes are about 1%-ish of the property value. So we're going to have some fun with math. We'll use some simple math, going off the fact that 95% of these liens redeem, right? 95% of the time. So we're going to use an example here, Arizona, for our case study, because there are still reasonably priced houses in Arizona in certain areas, but there are pockets of real estate all throughout the U.S. and tax lien states where you can still find property for 100 grand. For example, we're going to go with this, and Arizona has thousands of tax liens every year. The interest rate is up to 16%. You bid down the interest rate. So for this example, we're going to go with a fair interest rate of 10%, okay? And you can do these online from home. So what you would do is you take $20,000, you buy 20 $1,000 tax liens on houses valued at $100,000. going to get a 10% interest on $19,000 because one lien won't redeem, right? So that means your $19,000 turns into $20,900 bucks. $1,900 interest secured by collateral, not bad. But because 1 in 20 won't redeem, this is where you get the home run. So that means you will end up with one house valued at $100,000. In Arizona, if you get to foreclose after 3 years, all right? So if we're going off $1,000 to foreclose on this property, you'll be all in on the taxes for about $3,000. From there, you can hire an attorney or foreclose yourself. I recommend just getting an attorney to foreclose, and it's going to cost you about $2,000. And boom, you've just got yourself a $100,000 house for $5,000. You could sell it, profit $95,000, or rent it out for residual income, or you could refinance it and take that money tax-free and go and buy more. But the power of this just gets absolutely crazy, because if you were to buy 60 liens on $100,000 houses, you're going to end up earning interest. Basically, you'll end up earning $300,000 in houses for just $15,000 while earning 10% on the properties that don't redeem. So this stuff can really be powerful. So you have a couple options. And I would say anybody with less than 50K should probably start with tax deeds, because you can turn that money quickly, because this money is going to be invested for basically up to 3 years, but then you're going to get those huge home runs. Now, as we do this, what if I told you you didn't have to wait 3 years, right? What if you could do this in 12 months? So welcome to the world of OTC tax liens. These are over-the-counter tax liens. So for example, in Maricopa County in Arizona right now, there's tax liens sitting there that you can literally buy and start foreclosing on right away. Some of them start for as little as $20. Now be careful, it's not some weird little piece of desert sand, but you will have to roll up your sleeves and do some elbow grease. However, there can be these life-changing deals on these properties. Farmland, commercial properties, golf courses, hospitals, restaurants, all sorts of stuff. Now I want to introduce you here to one of our members, John, and check out what he did. He just skipped the line and went right to these. Hey guys, we got John Abbott here. He just did a killer tax lien. John, can you tell us about it real quick?
Yeah, so we purchased a tax lien for about $390,000 here in Arizona, and we're super excited about it. It's 100 acres. It's worth about, the state has it at about $9 million, so it's probably worth a little bit more than that. So we're really excited about the potential on it, but even if we don't get through the foreclosure process, we're making 16% on $390K, so we're pretty happy about it regardless.
Nice, right on, man. Well, that's awesome. Excited to see this working out for you.
Me too.
Alright, so pretty cool. Hey, John went right for the big fish. What he did is he just jumped the line on a $9 million property, started foreclosing immediately on a $390,000 tax lien. Worst case scenario is he's going to get 16% interest on $390,000, making himself a cool $62,400. So what we do here is no matter where you're at, there is a starting point with tax liens and deeds. So whether you have $50 or $500,000, there is a path to wealth and financial freedom through tax lien and deed investing, and that is why it is the best place to start. Now, I want to make a super important note here right now, because times are changing faster than ever, and this is super important to pay attention to, because if you don't adapt, you're going to be left behind. And the biggest change in our lifetimes is happening right now, and that is the creation of AI and artificial intelligence. This is going to be the biggest leap in humanity, in my opinion, in existence. And for those of you who ignore it, you're going to be left behind, and the people who embrace it are absolutely going to dominate and make the most money. So check this out. I want to share this little video with you here right now. Unless you've been living under a rock, like a really big one, you've heard of AI. Maybe you have dabbled with it. You hear about it everywhere. But until this webinar, you have been unclear on how to use it to create wealth for yourself. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Digital Dustin, a clone of Dustin Hahn. This video was completely AI generated, from the research and script to the voice clone and video clone. While Dustin sleeps, I'm hard at work doing tasks that make him money, from finding tax lien and deed auctions to growing his brand online. Dustin did poorly in school. Guess what? Not me. As Digital Dustin, I outscore humans on IQ tests. I can pass medical exams. I can pass the bar exam to become a lawyer. I can fly any modern airplane or create a 50-page detailed report on why your spouse was wrong in your last argument. Here is why you should be excited and scared of AI. Let's start with why you should be scared. In the next 3 years, 95% of all jobs will be transformed by AI. If your job requires you to do sales, talk on a phone, interact with a computer, or drive a vehicle, guess what? AI is coming to replace you. AI doesn't need days off, it never calls in sick, and will never complain to HR on how you treat them. Without a doubt, in the next 3 to 5 years, 60% of the people watching this webinar will have their jobs affected by AI. According to research, 45 million Americans will have their jobs replaced by AI by the year 2030. The good news is that if you are watching this, you are going to be an early adopter of AI, and early adopters make all the money. I'm going to hand it over to Real Dustin, and he will teach you how to use AI to dominate tax liens and deeds. Note, if you ever want to see if you're talking to Real Dustin or AI Dustin, ask Dustin to recite the tongue twister Peter Piper. As an AI, I suck at that. Alright, so Peter Piper picked pickled peppers. I thought the pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. I am back and we're ready to go. So I hope you thought that was fun. The point here is that AI is changing the way the game is done. It is allowing us to do weeks worth of research in literally just a matter of minutes, and it's revolutionizing tax lien and deed investing, and it's allowing you to have the horsepower of an entire team working on your behalf to really help you make money in this game. And this is going to be massive for you to be creating wealth for yourself and your family through tax lien and deed investing. Now, over the last 10 years of teaching people tax liens and deeds, and with over 50,000 people who have bought this book and hundreds of thousands of people who have downloaded it, I've seen a few things, and I've identified 13 roadblocks that prevent the average person from making money with tax liens and deeds and finding the most profitable, juicy, over-the-counter properties. And I want to go through them with you. So, roadblock number 1 is knowing where to go and actually find tax liens and deeds. That's the big one. Number 2 is knowing how to find the value of the property so that you can feel confident making an investment. The third one is estimating the costs of rehabs. Maybe you want to rehab the property to make the most amount of money possible, and estimating rehabs is a big bottleneck. The next one is figuring out, roadblock 4, how much can this property rent for? The fifth roadblock is how to bid on the property and set max bids so you don't overbid and screw yourself over. The next one from here is, okay, cool, you got a great property. How do you sell this thing and market it in the fastest time possible to make the most amount of money? That is roadblock number 6. And then the 7th one is finding the cash buyers. So this roadblock often prevents people from getting the most money. So the roadblock is finding cash buyers. The 8th roadblock is having the right contracts in place to basically confidently execute your property, maybe your buying contract, your selling contract, or your lease option contract. The 9th roadblock is legal questions or the legal process in general when it comes to, say, working with a tax deed, clearing title, and foreclosure. The 10th roadblock, and this is something that holds up a lot of people, is like, oh, I want to do this, but what type of LLC should I set up? So this is a big one, and I've seen people spin their wheels for years just not knowing what type of LLC to protect the wealth once they create it. And then the 11th roadblock is accounting. How to maximize deductions and really to be able to keep the most amount of money possible in obviously a legal way. The 12th roadblock is projecting revenue, thinking how much can you actually make with tax lien investing? And then the 13th is finding over-the-counter tax deeds and tax liens effectively and quickly. So any one of these roadblocks or these combinations are what I've seen to be the stumbling point or the choke point that stops people from getting into tax lien and deed investing. And the beauty of AI is it can solve all 13 of these roadblocks that can stop you from getting into this with the push of a button. It's never been easier for the average person, from grandmas age 95 to young kids to single moms to anybody getting into tax liens and deeds with AI. This can make it this can make it fast, safe, secure, and predictable, and really allow the average person who doesn't have a lot of tech skills to use AI and make this work. Now, when it comes to AI, you're hearing about it everywhere. It's all over the place these days. I was like you. I was I was resistant. I thought maybe it was a dumb fad. And at the end of the day, you're watching this and you're probably still thinking, okay, yeah, sounds cool, all this buzz, but like, how the hell do I actually use this thing to make money in my life? That's a big one. Now, luckily, my fiance, she is a cloud engineer, and she brought AI to my attention and said, hey, this can change your life forever. And I was a little bit hesitant, but she knows this stuff inside out. She studied it in school, and from here, she helped me get into the AI. She said, if you don't get on this now, it'll be like missing the opportunity to buy Bitcoin in 2010. So what I did is over the last couple of years, we've been investing in AI and learning it, and it's been one of the best decisions of our lives. Not a day goes by where we're not using AI to absolutely dominate tax liens and deeds. And if you guys work with this stuff, it can be one of the best decisions of your life, because not only are tax liens and deeds the best vehicle, but combined with AI, and it's awesome. So I want to introduce you to a new term, and it is a new job that has emerged with AI, and it is called a prompt engineer, an AI prompt engineer. And these guys make up to $300,000 per year. So basically what I did is I went ahead and over the last 12 months, we hired a prompt engineer, and we invested over $300,000 to develop an AI specifically for tax lien and deed investing to absolutely dominate. And there's nobody else out there right now who has an AI for tax lien and deed investing. And being the number one authority in the space, I thought, hey, why don't I take it upon myself to create an AI and really carry the torch here to help people use AI and get started with the push of a button. So I want to introduce to you guys, and you can talk about it on your call, but I want to introduce to you the all-new tax lien AI world. And basically, this is the industry-leading tax lien and deed AI. And I just want to take a second here and show you how it works, because what we did is we programmed this thing for all 13 of the roadblocks to solve them for you. From there, we programmed it to have all 50 states included so that it can be an expert. This thing can pull properties for you, pull lists, estimate rehabs for you, and really do weeks and months worth of work in literally a matter of minutes. It is like hiring an instant in-house staff instantly to do your tax lien and deed work for you. So what I want to do is, we've spent over $300,000 on this thing. I just want to demonstrate it here for you to see and show you how AI can be absolutely life-changing. So here we are, and I'm just going to press go, and you shall see this thing. I'm going to use it in action right now. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to the all-new Tax Lien 1 AI. So what I've done is I've had my team of prompt engineers build custom AIs that are built and trained to solve all 13 problems that we mentioned that prevent tax lien and deed investors from getting started. So never has it been this easy to buy property for as little as $50 and buy these $100,000 houses for as little as $5,000. So let's go ahead. Let's pretend I'm a brand new tax lien and deed investor. Let's look at how easy this is. So first thing is how hard it is to find property. So on the left-hand side of the screen here, we have 16 custom AIs that are built. I have them numbered in order, then some extra ones that you'll see in a minute. So let's pretend we're starting from scratch. It's you, day one. You want to buy some properties up to 90% below market value. So let's get going. We have custom AIs built for every single state. For this one, we're going to click on the one that here says Texas Tax Deed Expert. So it's super easy. Step number one, we're going to come down here. We got a prompt that says get that money. Okay. So we go ahead, we click get that money. Boom. The AI is getting to work. It is finding the top 5 counties in Texas, okay? So it's going to pull them up. It's going to give you details on exactly what type of property, what type of listing. So number one is Harris County with a population of 4.7 million. Major cities, Houston, Pasadena, Baytown. We have the number to the county tax collector. And check this out. We have the website to the Texas tax sale listing. So you come over here, boom, click that link. Here we are. So this is a tax sale that's literally happening in the next couple days. Come down here. This here is the listings of properties. Now, this is prime time because the sale is going to be in the next 4 days. So you're left now with pretty much all the properties that are going to go to auction. So check this out. These are available right now. Some of you watching, I guarantee, will buy some of these life-changing deals. So check this out. There's this property right here. The value is $417,000. The minimum bid is $78,000. That's a pretty good spread. You could come in here. So we're just going to look. We're going to browse a few of these. There's a lot of property. There's a lot of lots coming up. And the nice thing about all of these is you can go in and do the research on the property. So let's take a look here. We got this one, opening bid $30,000, value $126,000. And in Texas, works is they break it up into precincts. So you can come over here, you can sort things out. Check out this property, okay? So we can view details on this. It looks like a good tax sale property. The minimum bid is $8,200. We come over here, and when we look at the value on the property, it is around $69,000. So that's not too bad. If you got that for minimum bid, that's a great deal. You can make 20, 30, 40 grand on all day long. So what we need to do though is continue our research, and this is where most people struggle. So we're going to use this as our little case study. We're going to copy the address, and now it's time to get the AI to go to work. So we click the button. Now we're going to come over here to number 2. It's like, okay, cool. Let's get some comps on this property. So we're going to come over here. We're simply going to paste the address in here of that property that we just took. Boom. Now the AI is getting to work. We're going to go, we're going to watch this thing pull comps. Before, you would have to go and do all of this stuff manually. So now, as you can see, it's pulling up the comps in the area. We're having properties that are within the vicinity of how much they're selling for, okay? Now the nice thing is it's pulling up these comps, it's putting the link right in here to Redfin, so all you need to do is come in here, click the link to it. We have a property here, sale price $160,000, 1,600 square feet. We can come, we can copy the address over here, see what's going on for these comps. You can paste it while the AI is working. Boom, come over to Redfin. Okay, actually, wow, this one's $300,000 in value. Not too bad. You can come back to the AI and look at this thing go. We got comps in the area coming up right now. Sale price $160. Similar square feet. We got another comp for $224, and we have the links to all of the data. So this thing is just boom, going to pull comps. So when you come back to this property, okay, opening bid $8 grand, worth $69, but remember the county values things a lot lower, and as we can see by the comps that are coming up, this is a really good deal because comps in the area 160, 240. The lowest comp that we have is $160,000, and remember the county assesses lower than the value of the actual property. Okay, so this thing here, moving along, we want to solve this thing more with the AI. So okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to estimate the potential rehabs on this property. Now this is important because it gives you an idea of what it would take to make this thing worth full market value. And remember, most of the time for these deed properties, we want the fast bucks, not the last bucks. So I'm going to just get an idea here of what it would cost to rehab this thing. And I have this thing set aggressive, so it's going to give me probably like the highest value or like the most it's going to cost to rehab this property. So we put in the address, boom. Estimated rehab cost is around $38,000, it's saying. The property details, it's going in, it's taking into consideration the cost per rehab per square foot, and consideration this property was built in 1950. So it's going through, it's giving, look at this, we're talking about the exterior. The average estimate of cost around these things for cosmetic is going to be $8,000. Interior is going to cost around $15,000. Updating the HVAC and the roof, $5,000, okay? So it's giving us rough estimates here based on Redfin data, which is absolutely awesome. So we're in the game here. So remember, when we're looking at our comps, we're seeing comps from $160,000 to $200,000. When we look at this property, the opening bid is $8,000. So we want to figure this out, right? What are we going to spend? Some people are going to get this thing for minimum bid, but we're moving along. Okay, we're like, cool. Okay, so now it's time to figure out how much is this property going to rent for. So simply what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to paste the address again, and we're going to figure out, okay, cool, if I want to buy this thing, if I want to keep it for cash flow, residual income for that legacy wealth, how much will this property rent out for? So you can see here, it's going to work on the exact address here that we have. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to see what does it come up with. Rental rates in the area. It's going to do the forecast. It's looking at the neighborhood, the Sunnyside neighborhood. We're looking here that the rent is around $874 per month, which isn't too bad. Now it's pulling up the comparisons, the analysis of the rents in the area. And this is awesome, right? So imagine you come in here, if you were to buy this thing. So if you bought it for $8,000, you'd be able to possibly rent it out for up to $700-800 per month, no problem. So that is very, very cool to see what this thing is going to rent out for, and we have all of this data here for us. So then we're going to move along and we're like, okay, cool, how do we bid on this property? What is a bidding strategy? Hey, no big deal. All you do is you paste in the address of the property, the custom GPT that we built, the prompt engineers have this dialed in, so it's going to give you a specific tailored bidding strategy for the specific property that you are going on based on the property evaluation, the comps in the area, all of this research that we're doing here in the next few minutes. This stuff would take hours and hours before you'd have to go ahead, you'd have to learn all of the processes, and now you just come in here, you paste the address, it does it all for you, literally making it simpler than ever. So it's coming up with a custom plan. Then we're going to move along, okay? So, okay, let's go ahead. We're going to move along, we're going to get this property, okay? So let's say we get this property, it will happen where people do not bid against you. So let's say we just get the property for $8,200. Opening bid, nobody's going to bid, that is an awesome deal. So we're going to come back here, but now we've got the property, we want to go ahead, we want to flip this thing, okay? So if the market value is going to be 60 to 160, let's just go ahead and let's just make ourselves a quick $40,000 on this property, okay? So we want to go ahead, we want to sell it for $48,000. We just want to make 40 grand and beyond because we want to make the fast bucks, not the last bucks. So now we have a custom built marketing department here. So all of this is a custom coded GPT. So all you do, okay, it's time to market the property. We want to post the listing, paste the address, the marketing department goes, boom. It is creating your online ad for you. You can post this on Facebook, Craigslist, all of the forums. It's coming here, it's creating a beautiful, professionally done description of the property, okay? So we used to have to pay people and they'd take hours to come up with this. Here we go. Exclusive investment opportunity. It's going through here. It's putting in the after repair value of $200,000 based on the market area. Asking price is $145,000. We would modify that. I actually didn't give it an asking price, but we could go ahead and just enter in our asking price in here, and it's making a nice thing. So when the investor sees this, they say, okay, cool. Comps in the area, $195,000. We got one nearby sold for this much. It is absolutely awesome, saving you lots of time. So from here, okay, cool. We got the property, we got the listing, we got the comps. Now we need to find some cash buyers, right? So we want to come down here. We have a custom built cash buyer process ready to go. Same thing as before. Boom. Post the address, you press enter. The GPT is going to get to work here. It's going to find you the cash buyers and the best spots to find the cash buyers, okay? So the first thing is you want to go to the county records. You want to find people who have purchased properties at the auctions before for cash. These are some of the best buyers, okay? So we have the links to the county records. So I'm gonna move pretty quick here, but regardless, it's going to identify people who've bought at the foreclosure auctions because they're cash buyers as well. We're going to continue on to number 7. Okay, so moving along, the next big thing here is we now want to sell this property. Contracts are always what new investors struggle with, not anymore. With this GPT, we come over here to number 8, the contract generator. So we're going to click on this, and we're just going to say, create me a purchase and sale contract for, boom, paste the address, and this thing is going to go ahead and get to work and build you your purchase and sale contract for the property, literally with the push of a button, solving everything. We're doing here in like under 15 minutes what it would take new investors years to figure out and do all this stuff. So you can see here, boom, it's going ahead, it's making the contract. Awesome. All of this stuff would have taken so long in the past, and now you can literally be doing it here with the push of a button. So that's great. It's making the contract. The next thing that people struggle with is real estate lawyer questions, right? So now we built in an in-house lawyer. Remember how earlier I was saying GPT can pass the bar exam better than any lawyer. So for example, we can come in here. You can ask it questions. So for example, we could ask it a question here. How can I foreclose on my tax lien certificate in Arizona? Okay, boom, foreclosing in Arizona is a specific process. Your lawyer is going to be able to answer these questions for you. Understanding Arizona, it's going to walk you through all of the steps. The next thing people struggle with here, so it's talking about the redemption period. The next thing people struggle with here is the LLC setup. So, sure enough, you have a built-in LLC expert ready to go. You can ask it questions. You can say here, okay, cool, what are the benefits of an LLC for real estate investing? Click the button, ask it any question you want. It's going to be able to answer it for you, which is absolutely awesome. It's going to talk about asset protection. Moving along here pretty quick. Now, let's say you want an accountant, right? What are my tax deductions? You have a built-in in-house accountant. We've programmed all of this. You come in, boom, what are my deductions? Come here, the new accountant's going to say, okay, cool, as a new real estate investor, we're going to talk about tax deductions here for you. it's going to go through this stuff and just save you absolutely so much time, okay? So we're going to be able to we're going to be able to write off the interest rates on your property. We're going to depreciate it, the repairs, the maintenance, the taxes, the operating expenses, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, now let's have some fun and let's jump into the revenue calculator. So this is really cool. So going back to our principle where 95% of tax liens redeem, let's look at if you were to go and buy 100 tax liens valued at $2,000 each, okay? So this is where the fun kicks in, where you get to actually calculate some revenue when it comes to tax lien and deed investing. So remember, the value of a tax lien is 1% of the value. So these are $200,000 houses, right? So at a 95% redemption rate, 95 liens are going to pay you 10%. So you're going to make $19,000 in interest, okay? So where this becomes super fun is, at the end of the day, 5 of these liens will not redeem, okay? So at the end of the day, you're going to make $960,000 on these properties, which is absolutely awesome. So you invested $200,000, and at the end of the day, you're walking away with $970,000. Now, this is the absolute power of tax liens and why I love this business so much. So we have all of this stuff laid out for you literally on the left hand side, custom built. Say you want to find some over-the-counter deeds, you can just simply come over here and click, what is an over-the-counter deed, where do you get them? And then from here we have our built-in experts. You have a tax lien expert built in anytime. You could ask a question, what states are the tax lien states, and boom, this thing is going to kick it off, give you a list of all of the tax lien states. All you have to do is just click the button. So you got Alabama, Arizona, you can cruise. And from here, same thing with deeds. You got your tax deed expert on the side. Any question you have is going to get answered by the AI as well. This stuff is truly game-changing. We just went from zero to a full tax lien and deed investor here within like 13 minutes. You want to know the deed states? Boom, you can click here and you can find all of the deed states. So once again, this thing solves all 13 of the major issues that stop people from doing it, and you can be up and running. So here we go. It is labeling off the tax deed states. I am beyond pumped at how this is going to change your life. Alright, so as you can see, this only way of doing tax liens and deeds makes it easier and faster than ever to get started. With a push of a button, you will be able to save yourself months and months of work and have a massive advantage. This is as easy as it will ever get in your lifetime to get into real estate when you combine the power of tax liens, deeds, over-the-counter properties with AI. When your call comes up, make sure to ask about the AI as well. And the cool thing about this is, imagine having a genie in your pocket that could help you with deals literally on demand. And I want to show you right now how you can be talking with the AI throughout your day to make this stuff move quickly. So check it out. This is what we call an AI Pocket Pal, and I want to show it to you here right now. Alright guys, so in my hand right now is the pocket version of the tax lien AI one. So now you have the power of the internet at your fingertips. You can talk to this just like a human being. We have it programmed and personalized so you can have it in your pocket to take action towards getting these deals at any time. So let me show you how easy and simple this is for anybody to use. You're going to go on your phone, you're going to log into your personalized AI one, and you're going to go like this. Hello.
Hello, Dustin. It's your personal tax lien AI1 here. Let's find some deals. What can I help you with today?
Nice. So I want to go and I want to buy some cheap over-the-counter tax deed properties for as little as $50.
Great. What state are you interested in?
So I'm interested in getting some tax deeds in the state of Florida.
Here are the phone numbers for 3 county tax assessors' offices in Florida that you can call right now for over-the-counter tax deeds. 1. Wakulla County, 926-0919. 2. 352-486-5174. 3. Dixie County, 498-1213. Once you get the list, come back to me and I will help you find the most profitable deals so you can start profiting ASAP.
Awesome. Okay, so check this out. I changed my mind and I want to buy some cheap over-the-counter tax liens that I can start foreclosing on today.
As your personalized tax lien AI1, I'm here to help. What state are you interested in?
Let's see, I want to do
Arizona that have the most over-the-counter tax liens you can buy today are 1. Maricopa County, Phoenix, population approximately 4.5 million. 2. Pima County, Tucson, population approximately 1.06 million. 3. Pinal County, another option with a significant number of opportunities. Would you like me to provide the phone numbers to the county offices so you can buy some over-the-counter tax liens today?
Yes, please.
Sure. Here are the phone numbers and websites for the county tax offices in Arizona. 1. Maricopa County Treasurer's Office, phone 602-506-8511. Website, treasurer.maricopa.gov. 2. Pima County Treasurer's Office, phone 52-724-8341. Website, pimacounty.gov/treasurer. 3. Pinal County Treasurer's Office, phone 566-6422. Website, pinalcountyaz.gov/treasurer. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Real quick, as my personalized tax lien AI1, what else can you do for me?
As your personalized tax lien AI1, I can automate most tasks for you and save you years of trial and error. I can help with identifying and evaluating promising tax lien and tax deed opportunities, providing contact information for county tax offices, offering guidance on the purchase process, advising on risk management and due diligence, sharing strategies for maximizing investment returns. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I think we're all set. All set, thank you.
Sounds good. As your personal tax lien A1, I'm here to help you with anything you need. Have a great day, Dustin.
How cool is that? There's nothing else like this in the world of real estate investing. We are on the cutting edge, and when you get started with this, you can have this in your pocket, which is very, very crazy and cool. All right, let's see, back to the presentation. So this is absolutely game-changing, and I just wanted to take a second to show you guys kind of where we're at and where we're going with tax liens and deeds. And on your call, when it comes up, make sure to ask about the AI, and we could possibly build you one of these custom AIs that is 100% customized to you. So this is a big thing that we do, is we build the AI so that it is customized to you. It is 100% programmed for the states you want to invest in. We take your goals, we put them into the AI. This isn't like an off-the-shelf, sloppy Walmart suit that fits 10 sizes too big. This is a bespoke AI where we take all of your goals, the budget you have, the states you want to invest in, and we program it so with the push of a button it's tailored to you. This is a one-of-a-kind AI, and we're the only people who offer it as far as this goes. Now, on your call, have a chat, see if it's a fit, and it could really help you get started in this business as well. So the biggest thing that I want you to take away here from this presentation here before your call is, even with everything you've learned from this presentation and our videos, I have confidence that you can take everything you've learned and get started with tax liens and deeds. We provide the best information out there that's online, but at the end of the day, ultimately you're going to be going at this alone with no direction and really nobody to turn to for help when you need it, and you have to probably set up your AI from scratch and spend a couple $100,000 to get one built. And the real challenge is I often can't create lasting change for your life, even in the videos I make or even in the hour or two we spend together in this video here. It's just not possible. And when it comes to learning, probably most of you guys might be like myself, where when you think about anything you've ever done in your life, what is anything of significance, what is the big thing that you have in common, or the through line on this? And often it revolves around one-on-one help, right? Think about as a kid, when you were learning how to ride a bike, mom and dad were there holding the handlebars. Even from your first steps as a child, mom and dad are holding your hand step by step. When you're learning how to drive a car, uncle or grandma or mom and dad are sitting beside you to grab the wheel if you're about to hit the ditch or smash into something, or tell you when to hit the brakes. And my point is this: whether you're flying an airplane or going to university, most things in life require one-on-one help. And at the end of the day, everything you want to learn how to do is for free on the internet. If you want to learn quantum physics, if you want to learn business, it's all there. We put a lot of our best stuff online as well for tax liens and deeds with the book. And you have to ask yourself, okay, if all of this is online, why haven't I done anything with it? And in my opinion, we triangulate it to, you need one-on-one help. You need to be able to for yourself. You know, you might be a YouTube expert, you know, you might be in the learning loop prison, is what my friend calls it. You've just been watching videos for years, you've been learning about real estate with no action, you've missed a ton of good deals because you haven't taken action or had somebody to talk to. And one of the things that I have on my desk is this, and it's always covered, and what it is, I lift it up, and we all have one of these on our heads every single day. It's kind of imaginary, but what's going to happen is one day, poof, this is going to come up, this is an hourglass, and one day you're going to be out of time. And the sad truth is that we all have one of these over our head covered like this. And I have it on my desk and I use it in videos because one day it's going to open and your day's going to be up. And this time is very, very valuable and very important. And how you spend it determines the rest of your life. You know, sadly, my stepfather just passed away here about a month ago, and he was 62 years old, and he had one of these things over his head. And we all never would have guessed that, you know, on that day it popped up and time was up. So right now, what I want you to do is really think about time. How old are you? How fast do you want to go? Because real estate is a tool for freedom, to spend time with your family, your loved ones, to create a legacy, to not have to have your children depend on you, or put your children through the burden of having to take care of you as you get older. And I really believe tax liens and deeds in real estate is the most safe, secure path to do this. And we just have to answer the riddle of, okay, unlimited information is online, why hasn't it worked? And I think it comes down to one-on-one help. I think, at least for me, that's how I learn everything. You know, like I mentioned my story, as far as I went to that seminar for the first time back in the day. 3 days later, I was at a real estate auction with one of the attendees from the auction, and we're looking at properties. He showed me what to do, and when it came time to bid, I was absolutely terrified. There was no way I was going to raise my hand and bid on the property, and the guy there ended up being my coach. He literally took me by the hand and raised my hand and said, bid on this property. And I bought it, and it was 42 acres of land. It was worth $40,000, 40 acres of land. We bought it for $4,200, and this thing was worth over $80,000. We did it, we sold it quickly for $20,000, and I made $15,000. And that would have never happened if I wouldn't have had somebody there in person to help me do it. And the other thing is taking action within 3 days of getting the information. It's called speed of implementation, and how rich you get with this is determined by how quickly you act with the knowledge. So on your call coming up, this is an opportunity to chat about possibly, you know, getting that one-on-one help if it's a fit, and that's what we're here to do, is to help you take action with this. So it's time to get ready for your call. Go ahead, write down the time and date of the call for your calendar. Share this video with your spouse or your business partner, whoever needs to see it, so you're on the same page. And below this, check out some of our greatest hits videos to you know, bring yourself up to speed as far as tax lien and deed investing. We have the 100 tax lien and deed facts you must know in the audiobook is on this URL here, taxlienai1.com/bonus. You will find that there here today. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to transition to some folks who've worked with us, who've really liked it, and I'll leave you with that. Come back to this page, watch it, and once again, we're looking forward to doing your call here coming up soon. Talk to you later.
So originally I got my inspiration to go to my first tax auction from watching one of Dustin's videos, and luckily I got lucky and I was able to buy a condo at the tax auction, and I've been renting it out. I bought it for $13,000. I've rented it out for $850 a month for a couple of years now. So it was a good purchase. Yeah.
Was that your first auction?
Yeah, first auction. I've got lucky. Yeah. So, yeah. My name's Tom Heights. I'm from Santa Clarita, California, and I've taken a couple of tax lien courses. Dustin's is actually the best. I mean, you know, definitely the more hands-on than any other course I've taken, and I think it's the best. So, I mean, if you're interested in this field, I definitely would go to Dustin Hall's course because, without a doubt, it's the best, I think, out there.
And my name's Devin. I'm from Los Angeles. Great program, tax liens, great program, great strategy. I advise anyone to take advantage of their program. Dustin and the team, they're great. I had an aha moment where learning about the titles and learning about how to research titles so that I don't have to spend as much money each time purchasing a property create money on your own without never having to asking anyone to say, give me a job, can you help me? This right here eliminates that. This right here gives you the tools to begin to be self-sufficient, to begin to change and live your life the way what life is meant to be, to become a 1%er without even being in the 1%. That's the takeaway.
We were extremely skeptical. I didn't really understand that this was real. I didn't even understand what a tax deed was at a tax auction. So actually going to the class, coming to the auction, and seeing the teams buy property validated everything. It's a real deal.
Hi, I'm Michael from Australia, and for the last 20 years I've worked in health. I bought a couple of properties up here in the States, which has got my foot in the door, and now I'm looking at buying some tax deeds and tax liens. Well, yeah, originally I thought it was going to be a bit daunting. I thought, am I going to be able to do this from Australia? I know there is a way around it, and I'm also coming back. I've signed up for the 4-day option next year, so I'll be looking forward to that, hopefully buy a house. Don't be daunted if you live a long way away. Just come up here, claim it on tax, come up here every year or so, and basically buy a house hopefully. So what could go wrong? Well, if you're on the fence, if I can do it from Australia, especially to you Americans who are watching, if you're on the fence, just do it. It's going to be so easy. If I can do it, anyone can do it. My friends in Australia who have property up here, look into it as well. You've already got your foot in the door as well, so you can work it out too. But I think there's going to be so much support all along the way.
Lisa Applegarth from Ohio.
Hi, Lisa.
And I heard about Dustin online. I was searching, came across him, was very interested, and decided to bite the bullet and drive from Ohio to Texas, which is like a 20-hour drive, and I just wanted to have the experience and learn as much as I possibly could, and it's been overwhelming. Learned a lot. It was really great. I had a really good time, and I met people like this guy, and the experience was priceless. I thought it was wonderful.
Were you a little sketched out about tax liens and deeds before you?
I knew nothing. I was a tax lien and deed idiot.
Won't you tell me about the guys that you met here, how they bid? They don't even look.
They don't even check the properties. So that made me feel good because I thought, oh, I'm in a room full of other idiots. But now I'm not an idiot anymore. So that was interesting because I know a lot of people have money. I don't have money, and a lot of people, just come and they have money, so they just bid because they see the house looks nice. And Dustin's team, they taught us that there's a lot more to that, and so it was wonderful, great learning experience.
Yeah, and it's doable for sure.
My name's Ron Ward. I'm from California, Santa Cruz, California. I came across Dustin online, probably as most of you, I think it was online, as most of you have seen, and gave him a call, or gave the organization a call. It was just Dustin at that time. I went to my first auctions with Dustin in Arizona. I knew the market, I liked the market. I went there and I invested some money with him, and I figured, look, and this is the way I do everything. I say, okay, if I'm going to invest this money to go to this school or to do that, go to an auction, I've got to be able to make this money back. So I go to this auction, and it was like for a whole week. So I go to this auction, I figure I got to get a couple of properties here to make this work. So I ended up with 2 properties there, and sold one. I bought it at auction. There was a few people at the auction. I was the only person to buy. One was for $50,000. Another one was for I think $120,000. Ended up selling the first property that I bought that day. I bought it for $50,000. I sold it for $55,000. Just flipped it to a guy, a wholesaler, who was just going to fix it up and sell it. So I made my money back. So I'm fine. It's like Vegas. So yeah. So So I made back my money. So yeah, but the point is that these deals are out there. Good idea to team with these guys, and the reason being is this is a really difficult thing to do on your own.
Oh my goodness, I love tax deeds and liens. It just so resonates with me because, again, that is where the profit is to be made. There's wonderful properties out there that you can get pennies on the dollar, much better than any MLS or other forms that we have heard about. So I'm just excited to dive in and learn more and make money and help people. The energy, the excitement, what you can learn, just observing is just, it's invaluable, you know. And then to have the coaches here to be able to answer your questions, so that there's so many things that you can't cover in class, there's not enough time. But as you see it come up, you're able to, you know, grab them aside and say, hey, you know, what does this mean? And y'all, they've just been great. It's so wonderful. Oh, get off the fence. Get off the fence and do it, because now is the time, you know, and to get ready, because we don't know what the economy is going to do over the next couple of years, and this business will always be here, and I didn't even know it existed, and it's been going on since the beginning of our country. So do it. Just, I had the best time. I will be back. I love it.
Yeah, my name is Ben. I'm from Jacksonville in Florida, and first time at an auction, I found Dustin on Facebook. I was doing my ad preferences on Facebook, and it showed me a sample of an ad, and that sample was Dustin. And I'm like, oh, this looks so cool. And so then I went in, because I was trying to find some property, cheap property. And then I thought, tax liens and deeds, oh wow, awesome. So I went on there, and I immediately signed up in like 10 minutes after that. I got the books, I got the videos, and I saw Josh and Corey, and I'm like, everybody seemed like so cool. That was just 2 weeks ago. And then I got the email that said, hey, there's a big thing going on in Houston, you know, you should sign up. And I'm like, cool, you know, I think I'll do it. So I went ahead and did it, and then Austin called, and he says, hey, you should upgrade to VIP. Cool, I'll upgrade to VIP. And next thing I know, I'm here at the auction, and it was like super awesome. At first, obviously, because I've never done a deal in real estate, I've heard that people flip houses and do this and that or whatever, and so I signed up for other things before, but this is the first time that I got to see that it's real, that it's actually, it happens, people buy properties, people make money through auctions, and things of that nature. So to me, this confirms that everything, that it can be done and be done in a big way. Well, I would say don't do it because you're going to be my competition, but if you did do it, it's going to work. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Well, Dustin is the best, Corey, Josh, the whole team, everybody is like, to help you, out to help you. They want you to be successful, and it shows. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in real estate or anything. I've been a business owner for 10 years, and this is the first time that I've seen somebody actually wanting you to succeed. Everybody treats you as the competition or whatever else, you know, a number, but these guys are legit. So do it. I mean, if you don't do it, you're going to kick yourself.
Oh, my name's Richard Rodriguez, and I've been to a lot of seminars in the past. I got to say that this one was extremely beneficial. A lot of information that I captured here, and I was on my way to Texas, Harris County, to go on my own. And after I found out a little bit of information, I just switched that to where I'm going to take advantage of going with one of the coaches and keep myself safe, out of trouble. So I would advise that to everyone. But Dustin Hunt, it was just like you mentioned, and that's why I came to this event, is that your approach, you stated that it was going to be different, and a different approach than all the other gurus, and it was, and I was very, very pleased with that, you know, that was a different approach, and all your coaches, your team members, extremely knowledgeable. The best part about it is they made you feel that, you know, like this was down to earth. They were part of you, you know, made you feel like family already. And I felt very comfortable, and I'm eager to go further with you guys and go to these out-of-town experiences, learn more from you, and keep up the good work, and Stay true. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Phil Hauser. I'm from Oceanside, California. I'm excited. I just finished one of the most prolific real estate seminars I've ever attended. I've attended many. The content, the presenters, the staff were all 5-star and would highly recommend it to any serious real estate investor. Thank you.